a service of CNC Worldwide.
The Daily is a service of CNC News and Jib Jab Greetings. I'm Bud Lowell. Your full AccuWeather forecast is always on top here on your CNC local news pages. The I-Square project planned for the town of Irondequoit is now on hold following the town board's rejection of a 25-year tax abatement deal. Instead, the town offered a 10-year deal. The developer Mike Nolan says won't be enough to let him move forward, and that puts the fate of the 7-building mixed-use development up in the air. The Irondequoit Town Board voted unanimously Wednesday evening to reject developer Mike Nolan's proposed pilot agreement. A pilot, or payments in lieu of taxes, is a local property tax reduction deal. It amounts to indirect local government support of a project. Developers can show it to potential investors as some guarantee that the investors will make the return that they've been promised, and it also promises local governments will get agreed on payments, even though not as much as if the land were taxed at full value. Nolan and his wife have acquired land between Titus Avenue, Stranahan Park, and Union Park, and there they hope to someday develop a mixed-use commercial and industrial center for the town. It would have apartments, retail and office space, and public space, including an art gallery. The Nolans say they need the 25-year pilot to move forward. But for the town board, the pilot request fell under the shadow of the failed Medley Center project. The town signed a 30-year pilot with the developer in 2009 to turn the failed Irondequoit Mall into a hotel, restaurant, office, and retail complex. But the developer, Scott Conjal, was never able to get backing because of the recession and hasn't been able to make the scheduled payments. So at its last regular meeting, the town board began questioning a 25-year agreement for I-Square. The Nolans were not able to reach an agreement with the town in the 2 weeks between then and Wednesday's special board meeting. Nolan offered to share more information, but board members said they were ready to vote on the 10-year deal, and that's what they did. The 10-year plan would give the town a 2.5% tax increase on the property over that time. Nolan wanted a 0.5% increase over 25 years, and he says now that he cannot build the project with less, and he's not sure what he's going to do. A proposal to take Monroe County out of the state's Medicaid Intercept program has been tabled by the county legislature's Ways and Means Committee. Majority Leader Anthony Daniele said the referral from Monroe County Executive Maggie Brooks is a good one and will probably be approved, but he said it belongs in the upcoming 2013 county budget process, not as a separate matter. The hold frustrated Democrats on the Republican-controlled committee. They have tried several times to have the intercept rescinded. They believe the county could get a better deal without it from the state. County Executive Brooks originally went with the tax intercept because at the time several years ago, she said it would help shield homeowners from property tax increases to pay the county's Medicaid bills to the state. Now, Brooks says that's no longer the case. Under the intercept, a county may allow the state to grab a portion of its sales tax revenues. The Medicaid payment gets deducted, any balance is returned to the county. The downside is that it leaves less sales tax revenue for the county to share with towns, villages, and school districts, which may force them to raise their taxes. Moving day for the Greece Chamber of Commerce. They're moving out of the offices they've occupied in a plaza at the corner of Ridge and Long Pond Roads for some years, and they're moving to a new location. We'll show you that in an upcoming segment and how it hopes to advance business in the town of Greece. A state Supreme Court justice says he'll rule as soon as possible in the case of the tied Livingston County election. Judge John Ark heard arguments from Eric Sheiner and Steve Sessler about 7 absentee ballots, which may decide which one of them becomes the Republican Party candidate for Livingston County District Attorney. Both men came out of this month's primary election with 1,879 votes. The Livingston County Board of Elections didn't count 7 absentee ballots because of technical violations. 2 were sent in unsealed envelopes. 1 was postmarked too late, and the rest had inconsistent or unclear markings. Well, after listening to both Sheiner and Sessler and after studying the ballots, Judge Ark now has to decide if any of them can be legally counted. If the judge can't pick a winner, it falls to the Livingston County Republican Committee to decide who runs against Greg McCaffrey in November. Greece police have charged 21-year-old Gerald Smalls of Rochester with first-degree robbery for an incident involving an attack on an off-duty Irondequoit police officer. Smalls also faces a second robbery count for trying to hold up a man on Lake Avenue in Rochester, and he's being held in the Monroe County Jail. Greece police say Smalls is the man who accosted the off-duty officer last month while he was walking his dog. Smalls allegedly threatened the Irondequoit officer with a pair of scissors, demanded property from him. The officer struggled with Smalls and got cuts on his arms and shoulders. Then the assailant ran off with the officer's phone. Smalls then allegedly tried to rob a man walking on Lake Avenue at knife point a few weeks later. That victim also fought back and Smalls ran off again. He was picked up a short time later by police. Elsewhere on this page, to the left of this player window, you can find links to these and other stories. And some very important links are on the bottom of the page in that gray bar. They're for you to use. You can post us news that you've heard or tips that you think should be checked out. And items like wedding announcements, birth announcements, business openings, sports. We want to know all of these things because we are your community news resource here at your CNC local news pages. So next news as it happens, updates when necessary. I'm Bud Lowell, CNC News.